Yeah, no, I mean, I think in pubs he does
Yeah.
play some strange things, although.
They'll throw the barrel out, but TA2000 with the Sakuchi is going to be just fine. It's like Force wants to get muted again very, very soon. We'll wait and see if he wants to keep up the voice line spam. I was saying, Jonathan, PSG Quest again, they have already qualified to the groups. It is MOUZ that are trying their absolute best for a 2-0 victory here to secure their own position in the top 3 for the group stage of the Riyadh Masters. I'll probably be saying that quite a few times here throughout this series. I'm not going to lie.
It's fair enough. I mean, that's the game on the line for MOUZ. That's the reality of it. They need to find a 2-0 to be really secured. Leapfrog over Aurora. Quest is not an easy opponent, and it doesn't look like they're taking it easy with this kind of draft as well. Do manage to get the D ward early. Nice movement out from Mr. Ducalis to clear out that ward. Again, it's going to be interesting. I think the Snapfire pick into PA's actually kind of cool because of that ricochet. Every time she misses a shot, it'll bounce towards nearby enemies and damage them instead. So if you're missing on a PA, you're going to shred everyone else around you. Even though, granted, again, your damage early on isn't amazing. So it's kind of anti-evasion in a way. In a weird way.
I never even thought of that. Narman, top lane, he's okay. TA2000, copying a fair bit of damage. He'll be okay as well with the Sakuchi. But no, I never thought of that. Noob with the ricochet. That's actually genius. So he just continues to shred the rest of the team every time he misses. The PA, that's actually amazing.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting because it also makes it that if you're trying to harass out Supreme, he's on a high ground position, right? In laning phase, your hits can still fly onto creeps. So you can still clear out the creep wave while trying to go for some harassment hits. Again, the matchup, melee hero up against Snapfire for Noob does work out really well. Supreme isn't going to be completely shot out. He's got regen, he's got breed fire to slow down this harassment. He can still find some stable farm, but certainly very much Snapfire favorite as we have seen before.
Absolutely. Does the ricochet work with the little shredder?
Yes.
Oh, okay, so he can literally just pop a little shredder and just hit the PA, and there'll be 12 shots that come out of Noob, basically, assuming he misses every shot. Wow.
Yes.
Okay. Let's see how that pans out. I don't want to assume it's broken yet against PA, but it sure sounds broken.
Yeah, it can be. I'm keen to seeing again that scaling. It does still feel like your damage is going to be lacking until 25, but you have some now. Hold on.
Almost going down to Olnit. Olnit getting aggressive already here onto the Hoodwink, but Omar barely able to get away. Bengun, I should note as well, did go for the Liquid Frost facet on the Jakiro, so it doesn't bother for the Liquid Fire, would rather the Frost. I think that's a fine choice. I think the Frost is pretty damn good. As Omar gonna have to find out the hard way perhaps, as it looks like he is set to fall. Barely gets away for now with the stick charges. Still has a Fairy Fire up. Will barely make it out. But Bengun, a massive pain in the butt here on the Jakiro.
Yeah, I don't mind this too much. We were talking about the potential of a strong push with Jakiro on Liquid Fire. Liquid Frost just wins you the lane so hard. The constant damage, the slow stacking with the dagger makes it so painful to try to run. And this is a lot of pressure down bot and lane that, PA doesn't necessarily bully out. Do manage to find top, though.
Ducalis almost going down with the stroke of fate, but he does have the wisps come in and heal him up. Narman going to get tipped by Ducalis again. As Narman just unable to escape the tips. It's now Malik going down. Olin able to secure his first kill of the game on the PA.
It's the power of that Liquid Frost dual breath plus the dagger. When you get hit by all 3 spells, you move for like 100 move speed or something dumb. Almost feels worse than being stunned, because it lingers a little bit longer as well. You just have to be a little bit cautious there. Getting a lot out from Olnet. Still the pressure up top.
Ducalis. Maybe this time he drops, but problem is Narman is dropping earlier. They both do go down in the end. Both cores up at the top lane will enjoy those kills. Is now bottom. Malik in trouble again, and the slow is just absolutely atrocious. Malik is literally not moving. He's gone. Yeah, I mean, that is slow. Omar getting tipped already by Olnit. Looks like Olnit knows he's probably going to die here, as Bengun actually the one to drop. Omar survives, and Olnit may be regretting the tip at this point.
Yeah, they dive pretty deep for these kills. I like the aggression coming out from MOUZ. It does feel like they are winning out bot, but I think their top lane is a little bit too painful. The fact that Force finds the kill first as well doesn't help the cause. He had to share that EXP out with Narman. You want more levels up in this Brewmaster. You have the level advantage on TA2000 instead. So he's starting to dish out quite a fair bit of damage. Lower cooldown on Shikuchi makes it more annoying to try to pin him down. Overall, I think you're finding some good trades across for Quest. Your mid lane is still winning pretty hard from Noob, but Supreme, again, isn't lagging too far behind. I think the one concern is really just how much Ulnit's getting.
Omar again going to be targeted here by Bengun. Bengun is just doing so much damage with this Jakiro. Ulnit going to come in and clean up. This combo in the bottom lane, it is actually very fun to watch between Ulnit and Bengun. Like, it's like the amount of kills that are just getting fed to Ulnit right now, it's pretty ridiculous. He's going to have a very fast Battle Fury timing. Like, he's already got the cornucopia up.
Yep. And that's up against a Doom lane, which isn't necessarily the worst thing in the world for Doom to kind of contend with on a PA. Again, it's just all these slows. Think about it. Most of these slows are 4 to 5 seconds. Only the daggers around 2.8 seconds long. So it's almost like you're stunned for 4 seconds with all of these slow stacking because you just can't move. It's just a nightmare.
Malik, get out of there, sir. It's not looking too safe for you. Thankfully, Omar does force back Bengun. We should probably have a look at the other lanes while we have a chance here, John, as well. I mean, we already kind of have, but the very least for PSG Quest, the mid lane is going extremely well for Noob right now. I suppose I could say the exact same thing for Supreme, though, who has kept up in CS quite nicely. But Noob on that Snapfire could be a pretty big concern as the game does play out, because, of course, Snapfire, from memory, Jonathan, it can be very hard to deal with once it's online. And as you kind of mentioned earlier, mid-snap doesn't take anywhere near as long anymore to get online.
No. They're lining up for Supreme.
They sure are. Kisses are out. Supreme will have to rush towards the Snapfire, but it's just so slow to get there. He'll still land the stun just in the nick of time, but the chase is on. Silence out on Noob, not going to allow the follow-up Scatter Blast. So they do actually save the life of the DKs. Now bottom lane, Ulnit, force the TP away, but he'll make it out. Like, he'll TP back to the fountain rather than TPing back to the T1 tower, but it looks like he's going to be more than happy just surviving. And he's actually already 2 parts into that Battle Fury now. He just needs the Claymore and the recipe to have it completed. And so it is still going to be an extremely fast timing for the PA. Skipping the treads altogether for now as mid lane, Supreme. Again going to be in a spot of danger. Ducala's chasing him down with the Centaur creep, but it won't matter. They don't have the damage.
Again, just a little bit too hard, especially without the kisses up on Noob. They are doing a lot of chip damage onto mid, which Supreme isn't able to achieve with his first dragon form. And that is going to be maybe a little bit more painful. The map's not going to open up. Again, all the pressure has to be coming in from Supreme, as you will be farming up a little bit more of On Force and Ulnit. They are grouping up down bot here.
Oh, they really want to try and slow Ulnit down. Slow is there with the enchant. Problem is Bengun will just go down first as Ducala's now being chased up by Ulnit. Follow-up stun out from Ducala's. Ulnit may have gone a bit too far. He'll try to slow down Malik, try to go for a run. The rotations are incoming slowly but surely here from MOUZ as they do bring Narman over. And that'll be it. PSG Quest, seeing that Narman has rotated, they will leave Ulnit alone. They already got the kill into Bengun anyway, so they get away with something. And now Narman going for a bit of a D-ward, but it may cost him his own life. So he does get caught by a bushwhack, and he is certainly just dead.
And they still do a good job of bailing out Ulnit. It's a lot of tension down bot, even a little bit of a rotation from TA2000. We'll be able to find that tier 1 tower for their trouble on the side of Quest, but it is giving some room to recover. You know, Force has a solo lane, Ulnit stuck in the jungle, no forward wards to spot him out just yet. And the mid still holding steady. Side of Quest, though, they are starting to reach that point where they could think about another rotation out. Kiss is ready once more on Noob. Hasn't really left the mid lane. Is going for the Atos build, maybe into Gleipnir. Lots of utility and damage and control coming out once those items are formed up. No contest for the bot. Quest maintaining a 2k lead. Good amount of farm onto TA2000 and Noob. You are lagging a bit behind on Malik, but it's a Doom. It's just going to recover through Devour eventually. Does feel like for MOUZ, you have to be a little bit cautious as these initial timings start forming up. Because again, once you're ready to roll on Noob, probably just waiting for the full Atos timing. If you can rotate with the Atos and control and the damage from the kisses, it's going to be enough to start to look for those kills.
Oh, it absolutely will be. It's going to be a smoke rotation up towards the top lane here from MOUZ. They're having a look for TA2000. Oh, TA, he just popped the Sakuchi. This is a perfect time for MOUZ to move in. They'll land the Cinderbrew from Force. TA2000, though, still has another Sakuchi. They were unable to land a stun. Meanwhile, mid lane, Bengun does end up dying to Noob as they go for even more now. Kisses out onto Supreme. Supreme trying to fight Omar, but Supreme just burning through the damage of Noob. They will eventually find Omar's life. They'll chase down Ducalis on the Enchantress. Ducalis, though, just going to go for a casual TP out and he'll make it. No problem. So another great team fight here for PSG Quest.
And it is. And they're playing off the back of these openings. And they can't catch out T2000 and Weaver. They see all of that commitment from the mid. They know they've got the room to actually make a play on the mid lane itself. And get that good punishment out going from Quest. A 4K lead already at 10 minutes in. It's not the flashiest set of kills. 5 to 7, not a big gap in terms of the kill board, but what it achieves for them is just doing so much more on the side of Quest. That and off the farm coming in for Omar and Ducalis is starting to stack up. And that is going to be a concern. An early Atos on Omar, even more hold to help mitigate this lack of direct jump Quest might have. More sustain out from the Ench, making her a harder burst target. Even for the PA, again, considering that you have to get some attacks up on Olnet, can be a little bit challenging with the attack speed slow still. Noob, Omar looking for a play with a smoke out.
Where do they head, though? Down towards the bottom lane, they'll group up with Malik. Seems like they are aware that Olnet is around the corner somewhere. They did have vision on the high ground, so Olnet will now be scattered out by Noob and Omar. Rod of Atos out, kisses are in, Bushwhack will lock him down, and there's just no chance, as Olnet will get tipped by everybody here from the side of PSG Quest. And that's going to be pretty rough for Olnet, because he was off to a very good timing on the Battle Fury, but well, now it's looking painfully average.
And it is. You even get a solo kill for TA2000 onto Narman. Force not really able to do much to stop that. Does have the split, but doesn't really have anyone to fully connect to maximize that. Supreme.
In danger. Stun will land out from Noob. That's so much damage with the little shredder being pumped out onto Supreme. He'll still make it up, but now as Malik dropping the Doom immediately right onto the head of Force. Force trying to help his cause, but he might just have to die. As he will, Malik will secure the kill. Still looking for more is PSG Quest. Looking to jump back in. Bushwhack will not land from Omar. Noob, he'll rotate around the mid lane. In comes TA2000 onto Narman. They'll even find Bengun down the Jakiro. Bengun is gone. Narman, he'll follow right after. No chance of survival here for anyone on the side of MOUZ, as even the DK, he's still being chased down. Supreme not realizing they are on the chase here to Carlos. Having a look for another, but seems like Supreme at least able to get away. But my god, this game one, it went from being pretty okay for MOUZ to being really bad for MOUZ.
Just comes down to how well these lanes came out for Quest. The bot lane was probably the best lane for MOUZ. Mid lane, it's to be expected when you're up against Snapper. The top lane, a lot slower for Force. We have not seen a single split in this game. He's still working onto that Radiance. Still lagging a fair bit behind in comparison to the Quest cores. You finally get your Battle Fury up for Olnet, but he needs more time to really maximize his farming pace. He's going to be rushing into the Power Treads BKB, try to get activity afterwards. Until that point, it just doesn't feel like you're ready. Maybe once you have this blink up in Supreme, things can start to go a little bit smoother here.
Oh, speaking of Supreme, John, I have a feeling that Blink's not going to be coming anytime soon, sadly, as he will get caught here by the Rod of Atos into the kisses of Noob. Or Narman not looking too good either, as he just gets demolished by Noob with a little shredder. Yeah, I don't think I'll be questioning mid-Snapfire again, John.
Yep.
Not this patch.
It's pretty solid. It's a lot of output, the little shredder changes.
Bengun in danger. Force, he'll think about the primal split, but the Bushwhack's going to land in time, and Bengun just gets shot down. What do you do? It's a very one-sided game one thus far.
That it is. I mean, Little Shredder is just too much damage at the moment, you know? Again, they take away the talent spikes, but 65 base damage, 30% of your attack damage at 133. That's around, what, 40 damage maybe? It's, what, nearly 100 damage still per little shredder, and it's kind of nutty.
No. Supreme, Bushwhack's gonna land, Sharpshooter's gonna be up. He does at least get a Dragon Tail stun, but that's not gonna mean jack crap. Omar does secure the kill on the Hoodwink. And it is literally just hunting season right now for PSG Quest. You know, it's rabbit season right now, John. And MOUZ are the rabbits. TA 2000. They will be able to retreat. The rest of PSG Quest, they're coming right through the Radiant Triangle, trying to force the fight up at that top lane. They won't find themselves the target they were looking to jump in on. Instead, mid lane, they may have found themselves a Jakiro, but Noob does not want to dive the tier 2 tower on his own. Top lane, they will find Nub. Now, Narbin does use the Inksword to try to run, but the Sharpshooter going to land from a mile away, and the Swarm, oh, it's not enough, but Malik's in. Malik takes down Narbin. He's even found the Jakiro. Bengun will follow. I mean, show him a little bit of mercy, Quest. Come on now. Oh, hold it.
No.
Look at this. Look at all of it.
Oh, my lord.
God.
Oh, okay.
I mean, for the record, Olnet hasn't skilled any points in Blur, which is fair enough, I think.
I mean, to be fair, your evasion is tied into your levels.
I'm
so
aware.
The Blur is not going to do much for you anyhow, I don't think. Especially without the facet.
I'm fully aware of that, Jonathan. I just don't know what else you do. Like, at least maybe he would have had half a second to get away. You had something.
Yes. No, I think it's kind of nutty. Wait, hold that thought on my end.
Kisses are in. They found Supreme here. Look at the damage output with those kisses. My God. Narman and Supreme are gone. Noob on a double. 10-0-3 on the mid Snapfire. Jeez Louise. I mean, what are you meant to do against this?
I think you're meant to call it relatively soon, Mikey. Mind you, again, I was looking at that little shredder onto Olnet. If there's no enemy heroes for the ricochet to bounce to, does it actually just trigger on the same target? Because it felt like there were no misses.
I believe he did actually miss once, maybe. I'm not sure. I'm actually not sure. I mean, it's an interesting thing. We might have to test it in the demo just after this game. But here we go again. Look at this. Noob, he may answer your question top lane. Olnet gets caught by a Gleipnir. Noob, cookie out, little shredder, and there you go. You tell me, John, did it work or not? I don't know.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
They go back to comfort, you know, back into this Olnet PA. They had a good lane. It's just there was no play. I mean, Force is still farming. He's still looking for his Radiance. He's not really joining in. We haven't seen a good split. They've got the Blink and Supreme, but who do you connect with without your off lane ready to go? Your supports are just not enough in this game to kind of land you some good pickoffs here just yet.
Oh, top lane. They're going to find Bengun. The Bengun still going to run, but Malik's there. And that'll be enough. TA 2000 now to take that kill. 4-0-6 on the Weaver. Current scoreline 5-23. Of course, 17.5 minutes in. 18k net worth advantage for PSG Quest. And it's not getting any easier for MOUZ as time goes on. You talked about the Radiance and all that. I mean, it's just so late by this point. Like,
yeah.
Force will pick it up now, but what difference is it going to make? I can only wonder. Because there goes your top tier 2 tower. All outer towers now are completely gone for MOUZ. And it seems though PSG Quest are probably about ready to go again.
Yep. Smoke out from MOUZ. Maybe try to get a good reveal on the Radiance plus Blink here. See if they get a flank.
Well, they saw Malik, but they don't want to jump in on the Doom. Instead, they'll try for TA 2000. They'll find Omar. Omar will get jumped. That's one down here for MOUZ. So a nice start. The problem is PSG Quest, they get everyone else out of there. So you get actually a really nice goal change anyway. It's a 1k swing off that one kill on the Hoodwink. But that's all they're going to get. And PSG Quest, they're still going for Roshan anyway. They don't care.
Not much to care about. And they've got the damage. They've got the control on the map. Should be able to find us Roche, no problem. With the low Shredder minus armor, with a Swarm on top as well. Not going to take too long. There is enough time to maybe respond if MOUZ manages to get a read here.
Quest are waiting. They're not going to rush too much, so just deal with the creep wave first. Maybe just try to use TA2000 as bait. While everyone else does remain smoked up. Force, going to be spotted here by Ducalis. Vision down. They'll find Bengun with an enchant, and Bengun will be the sacrificial lamb as now the Doom is out. They've also caught another. It's going to be Force on the Brewmaster, just getting completely destroyed. As Supreme's going to try and TP out in the middle of the fight, but he's been caught. 3 down. 4 down for MOUZ. The only survivor is Olnit, and that's only because he wasn't even there.
Just buying space for the PA. Again, good read from Quest. They saw the clear on the tower, on the creeps. They knew they had to, well, it should just force the fight instead of trying to risk it with some blink initiation shenanigans. And get the isolation. Straight jump forward from Malik. Get the Doom off onto Force. Again, just no splits coming out. And the damage is just overwhelming. There's just no play for MOUZ. They have to, their own damage is still farming. Like Allnet, it's just not ready to join in. And Quest, the smiles on their faces, they know this game is in their complete control. 21k lead at 20 minutes in. More than 1k per minute. That's kind of insane.
It is pretty insane. Things are going swimmingly right now for PSG Quest, and I don't think things are going to turn anytime soon with the way this game number 1 is going. Bottom lane, Malik's having a look at Olnit. Olnit being caught, sharpshooter from a mile away, and well, the blur is out this time, but it's not going to make the difference. Olnit is actually still running.
The acorn!
No, he's gone. The acorn shot, it's going to be enough. They do at least find the 2. Malik does die.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
That fight was a bit of a PowerPoint for me, Jonathan, I must admit. Couldn't see anything. Force?
No, they're still going.
Radiant's top tower
They
is
are
under
still
attack.
going. Omar having a look for a Gleipnir target. They have found themselves Force here on the Brewmaster already. Bengun's gone to boot. Force is going to try to go for a run, but it's not looking great for him because TA2000 is just not leaving him alone. The chase continues here from the Weaver. Force cannot believe he's still being chased. It's TA2000
Oh my goodness.
into the tier 3 towers.
Oh my
Past
goodness.
the Ancient into the fountain now for Force.
No!
Leave him alone. Force will barely make it. Oh my.
Oh, Quest. They're just going crazy. I mean, that last fight as well, sure you sacrifice Malik, but the kill goes on to Bengun, not the hero that really wants that gold. The AoE gains for MOUZ are still big, just not enough. Still need so much more, still need so much more time as well. They are getting that time, just lacking basically the recipe gold now on Ulna to get the BKB, but you've got a very low HP PA that will have to try to dig through a lot of heroes up front, even when that BKB is up. We're inching towards Noob getting his level 20 for the triple little shredder. Even just the 18 with a higher kiss damage is going to be huge. They are going to try to group up on MOUZ. Again, they still have split ready if Force can get into a position and not get doomed. A lot of ifs here.
Well, here we go.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Smoke on smoke scenario. MOUZ, PSG Quest, they're going to go at it. Olnit, though, he's been caught already, and the team is not by him. You can't afford to lose the PA like this, but he's
Jeez.
gone. They were trying to group up. MOUZ, they're still to the north of the map here, but how do you fight without your PA? The answer is you just don't. You hope PSG Quest don't go high ground.
Yeah. You've got buyback, but you really don't want to expend it when you need this BKB farm and Ulnit. They will just maybe try to cut through waves. They are leaving Force behind. No, they have to TP respond to this push.
T3 tower going down. PSG Quest making quite short work of it so far as the Gleipnir going to catch a couple targets once again. Force already losing half his HP on that Brewmaster. Will be okay, but the Bushwhack going to land onto Supreme now, making life even harder as they even got the Doom up onto the Brew. Supreme and Force both gone. And Bengun barely surviving as they call it. GG. They have seen enough for game one.
Radiant's middle barracks.
Now, I can't say I'm overly shocked by the result we've seen here during this game one, John. I wanted to hope we'd see a bit of a closer game, but props to PSG. That's what it is. I suppose you want to be on the winning side of things before you start to talk, I guess, here for Narman. And that has certainly not really been the case here, as well, both sides still smoked up, still ready to try for a level 1 team fight. See if they do try to force it. You know, one hand PSG Quest, they do have a Brood, so you are kind of lacking another hero to play with. It's like all she's got is a spin web at the moment. You know, she doesn't really have any spells to throw out. Bit of a depressing level 1 team fight ability to have.
30 seconds to battle.
That it is. But again, I appreciate going for necrotic webs and dropping one in mid, just to get a little bit more for your mid lane matchup.
It
Not
makes
that I don't
sense.
think, you know, going up against Supreme, it doesn't feel like the biggest issue in the world. But it just allows you to win a little more, you know?
It makes sense. I like it. Bounty Rune's about to spawn up. It's like Malik's going to go and swipe a Watcher away.
The battle
Bit of a fight over the bounties. And it appears we are going to get a 3-for-1 trade in the favor of PSG Quest. So MOUZ will miss out on one. Not the biggest deal, but already a decent start here for PSG Quest.
That it is. Just set some good tone, maybe get some faster timings or more region on mid if need be. Do come in with just the double circlet, Gauntlets of Strength into the Iron Branches here for Noob, so no sustain. Probably not expecting too much harass anyway from Supreme. Going for the Elitist, Wex early on. Increased movement speed can be annoying, but it's not going to really drag Noob away. Very stable lane down mid for the DK. Shouldn't expect this one to be too flashy. Maybe Supreme, again, if he does go for early Exort, could look for some opportunities for Sunstrike cleanups in the side lanes. I think that's one way to kind of get some tempo here for the Invo, if you can afford to go Exort down the line. We shall see. Rune control, not particularly important for either side either. So I think this does allow both teams to focus in on the side lanes completely and just look to eke out an advantage on each side here.
What about those side lanes? I mean, the top lane right now, Bengun and Olnit against Omar and Malik. Seems like it's pretty okay time for Olnit so far. Of course, as the levels do come up, you start to get a little bit afraid, though, against this Slardar. You do have a very nasty combination as well with the Snapfire and Slardar. The cookie into the Slithering Crush, and of course the Bash of the Deeps to come up straight after that. I think the level 3 timing for Malik's going to be very, very potent, of course. And, well, if you are Olnit, that Bash of the Deeps, it is going to be very scary.
That it is. You do still have to respect maybe the level 2, level 3 spike as well of MOUZ. Like, they have double stun with Cask, plus the Stormhammer into a Maldic play that can come in. Probably looking at level 3, will want the Voodoo Restoration to sustain here for Bengen. But there is some counterplay potential for sure up top. Down bot, of course, we're looking at Narman and Force on the Rubik, plus the Primal Beast up against Ducalis and TA2000 on the Jakiro and the Brood Mother. We do have Liquid Frost once again showing up here for Bengen. There is, again, that slow stacking that can come in. A little bit of aggression up top. You are seeing snippets of that double stun that can kick in here.
Bengun and Olnit both getting quite low, but they are able to get their way out of there. So far, pretty quiet across all lanes. No kills coming out quite yet. Of course, looking back to that mid lane, Noob is having an extremely good time on the Dragon Knight. With Supreme on the Invoker, there's not too much you can do in terms of contesting the CS game with DK. Like, Noob's always going to win the Deny War and the CS war that he's having right now with Supreme, and there's not really much you can do about it. As top lane, Omar gets to the high ground with the cookie, looks for a deny play, and does get it. MOUZ could not secure first blood.
Yeah. That's a lot of time commitment as well for Olnit to walk away, missing out on some CS. Gives Malik a little bit of room to soak into that level 3, so very much strong move out from the side of Quest just to deny off. Lanes are still going pretty well in Quest's favor. They're finding strong CS for Noob, strong CS for Malik and TA2000. Not much pressure from Force Norman. They've got the lift back trample onslaught they could play with, but onto a Brood Mother under her webs, it just doesn't feel like that's a very fast kill that can come out here.
That does not. I think TA2000, he's feeling very safe right now on the Broodmother. I don't think he has any fear of being dived at the moment. It doesn't really seem like Force and Narman have any intention of doing so anyway. Not quite yet. Top lane, a cheeky little cast being thrown out onto Malik, but he's going to be just fine to walk it off. It's no problem. Bottom, Narman. Chase is on now. He'll go for a TP play out, and he's actually going to make it. I think TA2000 could have afforded to go for one final right click and may have actually had the kill, but decides better of it, wants the creep wave underneath the T1 tower. Meanwhile, top lane, Olnit, going to get caught in the Sven, and he's going to go down. First blood drawn by Malik. And that's the combo that we were just mentioning, John. It's very hard to get away if they land that initial cookie.
And it is. Only so much regen Bengen has with level 1 Voodoo Restoration. Is forced to go for the cask as well, so no Maldic kill threat for our Witch Doctor and Sven combination anytime soon. And for Quest, the early game just going so fantastically well. Almost reminiscent of Game 1. There's a little bit more play coming out for MOUZ. But you are still concerned about this early tempo. Again, Noob about to hit 6, already at 5.5. Not going to be held off. No support rotations onto the mid. Hard to play into an Invoker anyhow to kind of set up and try to look for kills, even though you do have some supports that have decent rotation potential into the line. 6-minute rune not important enough for you to kind of leave this as well, considering the side lanes. I think Quests are just going to be allowed to reach this tempo, and I think my big concern is, again, DK level 6 is going to be big. They are charging down TA though.
No, I said they wouldn't, but they do. TA2000 getting caught with his pants down, and MOUZ, they do take full advantage. Now top lane, Malik dropping low. A double stun to land from Olnit. Also catching Omar as Malik still really playing on the edge. Not too concerned with the healing Lotus he still had. We find to slowly reset on the slider. So far, 1-1 is Omar. Out of position, does get caught by a cask, and Omar is this time, he is down. No getting away.
Good punishment out. MOUZ finding some wins across the lanes is big because, again, the laning phase just hasn't felt like it's gone their way at all. They do have some room off the back of these pickoffs now as well to just look for the 6-minute rune. They are setting up. They've got good wards as well. Watching the triangle on the Radiant side from MOUZ. They should be able to maybe get an advantage off of that. Could lead into a rotation from Supreme as he's about to hit 6. But again, not likely. Although you are also getting the rotations out from Quest here.
Certainly are. Mid lane, Narman gonna be alright for now. EMP gonna be dropped, though Supreme may have gone a little bit too far here, I think, and he certainly has. They will take him out. The blood grenade from Omar on the end, just to finish off the kill, and that is very depressing here for Supreme, dropping already on the Invoker. It's going to allow Noob to start getting some chip damage off here with the Dragon Knight, and of course we've seen how fast these DKs do take these T1 towers. It is very, very quick. Narman will try to defend, but he's been caught by Omar. The cookie stun into the Dragon Tail, finishing him off. Supreme learning from his teammate. He'll TP by the T2 tower, but geez, that T1 tower, it's just taken so much damage. Noob's just tanking for the creep, the siege creep as well. There's no protecting this, it's gone.
No. It's a dragon form, it's the little shredder to minus armor, just gets to town so fast. At the very least, they find the deny on Supreme, so they take away a little bit of gold, but the map control is going to be the bigger issue going forward here. Inside of Quest,
Malik.
again, taking control everywhere, although.
Now, Malik's alright. The cask bounces were not very lucky from Bengun. It's like all that, seeing that, did not want to bother to try and throw out the Stormhammer. Tips coming out for Narman from whatever reason. Ducala's just not leaving Narman alone at all throughout this series. Narman yet to say a word here to Ducalis. Just look at the confidence from Noob here in the mid lane as well. Like, he's just farming so far forward. Well, where the T1 tower used to be, he just knows nobody's coming to try and get him.
Yeah. And if they did, they just don't have enough damage unless they fully commit like all of their spells. It's going to take a lot of effort to just put this DK down at this point. The start for Quest, it does even out with a couple of kills from MOUZ, but again, your lanes have still gone spectacularly well. Already at the level 6 for Malik. Still have the Dragon form ready to go once more on Noob. You're getting a lot of farm out here for TA2000 to just camp a lane eventually as he approaches his level 6 with the Spiderlings. A little bit of smoke out for Omar and for Noob. Could still keep that pressure up. Only Bengen showing the lane. Olnet already hugging that jungle early on.
Top lane Noob, he's going to find Bengun. There you go, Omar's there on top. Poor old Bengun understands there's no chance of him being able to get out of that scenario. It seems the PSG Quest have finally warmed up. Starting to rotate all across the map. TA2000 though, bottom lane, does get caught by an onslaught. Problem is, he still runs, but the Primal does catch him with the Pulverize and takes him out. TA2000 is gone. Ducalis will hold down Force with the Ice Path and Force. He needs a couple more seconds to have the onslaught up. He's lacking mana anyway. Cookie, Malik, not going to quite reach, but he might be able to get the bash, but no. The Slithering Crush not quite landing before Force was able to onslaught away. So a very nice pickup here for the side of MOUZ, finding TA2000. But they do lose their tier on top in the meantime. And quite frankly, TA, he doesn't really seem too bothered by that death anyway.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
No. And all he wants to do is camp a lane anyhow and just keep shoving out, take attention away across the map as you would on the Broodmother while trying to get some farm up. This is providing a ton of room for Noob to just farm, for Malik to just build up. The double blink timing is going to be scary if MOUZ just allows us to go uncontested in terms of slowing down the Slaughter and the DK. They've got some forward vision out. They've got level 6 already up in Bengen. Even just the Valley Point and Maldic, they can look for the burst plays. Are grouped up for it. They've got the smoke out and they'll go hunting now.
They certainly will. Ducalis barely not within range to break the smoke. They'll head right towards TA2000 once again, trying to find the pesky Broodmother. They are running the right way. Scan is out. They do catch the Brood with that scan. TA2000, he seems to sense something is wrong. Ducalis in a very nice position to break the smoke and get some nice vision down to see all this coming. TA2000 though still going to try and force the fight as Ducalis somehow still alive, gets a double Ice Path off. Ducalis, he'll finally die. TA2000 though able to get out of there. Supreme in trouble. So is Bengun. Bengun will drop. Omar does eventually go down, but they lose Supreme. MOUZ, they'll get Force and Namen out of there. But TA2000 survives all of the damage they were trying to pump out. It's very nice to position that way for Ducalis. I mean, he really did just save the day here for PSG Quest.
Now, he did respawn's not that long either, and they should have their blinks coming in shortly here. Although it does look like Malik has switched his item build out of the blink. Maybe perhaps going for the Echo Saber first, and he is. So looking for a little bit more damage coming in. Do at least have one blink up. Take a look at that replay again. Positioning of Ducalis still to get his spells out, stall out that fight. Gives enough spacing for TA2000 to kind of angle away. They couldn't get the full utility out from the kisses, but Force there to intercept at least. But they still managed to slow down the Invoker in the end.
Oh, Ducalis rather, does get caught, does get taken down, but now Supreme in huge danger. The Spiderling still chasing him, though at least he will be able to get away. Thanks to the Tornado just holding them back for just a second. But he loses just so much HP the moment this Broodmother gets close to him. With that, MOUZ still trying to apply the pressure down to this bottom lane. So they're going to try for that tier 1 tower. And, or perhaps this time PSG Quest might actually let them take. It's tier 2000. They're still farming this bottom area of the map. He'll finally TP here.
Just trying to maximize while they can. You don't care too much about this objective. Again, you still need some build up for TA. Orchid not too far off. You've got that initial blink up on Noob. And you've got the Echo Saber up for Malik flying out now. That does stall out the double blink, but it does feel like one blink is going to get the job done. Tier 1 bot does fall now. Again, it's a much more even game coming out from MOUZ. They have managed to stem the tide coming in from Quest. With Quest, they still have these major item spikes lined up for themselves. You still need a ton of time for Olna to really hit his stride. Heck, even Supreme trying to go back for what was a Midas is now just Power Treads. Does have a full Spirit Vessel at least, so if they do decide to run down, they've got some good damage here.
T2 mid tower. Slowly just being chipped away at by Noob. Onslaught bottom lane. TA2000 again being targeted, but the TPs aren't coming still. They've got the Death Ward out. TA2000, he will go down as now they also catch out Omar, but Omar will survive as Force is the one to drop. They'll take down the Primal Beast. Noob chasing for more. Needs the Blink Dagger, but it's on cooldown for 3 seconds. He'll try for Bengun, but no, in fact he won't. He'll let Bengun go. Instead they'll try for Narman on the Rubik. Narman able to avoid the ice pot that was incoming. Noob getting caught by a cask, a very nice cask in fact, coming out from Bengun. Noob maybe in a bit of danger, does walk away as the kisses do start to fly in from Omar, forcing back MOUZ, but now they can start to move back in. Still Malik trying to find Supreme on the Invoker, looking to back out, he's gone too far, he will drop. MOUZ finally able to punish the side of PSG Quest. They'll try for Dekalis now, Dekalis being chased by Narman. It looks like they should have it. The Sunstrike, it will land. Supreme able to pick up a double. And PSG Quest giving quite a few kills back the way of MOUZ Esports.
Yeah, those are substantial kills. Malik just going a little bit too far forward. Really great usage of their stuns here on MOUZ to interrupt that. Even getting the rotation out from Allnet to provide some pressure and some coverage on that retreat. As mentioned, to get some punishment going their way. On the side of PSG Quest, it does feel like they need to be a little bit more patient. Again, you don't have a blink on Malik. If Noob jumps in by his own at this point, it does feel like you need the backup. You need an instant response. Let's say really good kisses out from Omar, or an ice pad out to help keep that control going for Dekalis. Are scanned out on MOUZ. They go through the gate up top. Might not be able to find this kill on Omar. That does take attention away. Again, it is about time for Quest to kind of slow things down, get that build-up you want on TA2000, allow him a lane to just camp, get the blink up on Malik first, maybe gun for this BKB on Noob. Once you have those timings lined up, it does get a little bit more manageable. For MOUZ, though, I mean, their own BKBs are being formed up on Ulnet. You've got the Witchblade coming out for Supreme, and the BKB for Force, which is pretty much done with 50 gold left. So they are ready to keep this momentum going their way. If they do manage to find maybe a fight or two more, Roshan becomes a possibility as well. If Allnet's ready to kind of just dig into the pit with God Strength, they can easily look for that off the back of a pickoff.
They're watching Allnet right now here on this fan. Seems like they do think better off just jumping in and trying to burst down Allnet. He did have his whole team right behind him. Still rotating around the long way, MOUZ. They'll head into that Radiant Triangle. Lines being drawn towards Malik, who's currently farming the top lane, though Malik does look to now retreat. MOUZ back into the mid lane. They'll go by the tier 1 tower. They'll get some vision down behind the tier 1. Jump is there onto Dekalis. Dekalis getting caught by the Primal Beast and does drop. So they'll get some.
That they will. They also managed to steal Macropyre from Narman. Great patience from him. Going to be able to leverage that in the team fight. They are setting up to defend bot instantly. No defense mid. All the Heroes of Quest are in this general area.
There's your macro ping committed. Omar still okay, but now the Tornado to catch him by Supreme. So Omar just going to turn around, accepting his death. Now 2k advantage for MOUZ. I mean, they have certainly found themselves in a very nice position on the top of the net worth board on the Sven. And PSG Quest, the ones that need to find a way to catch up. And well, for now, it's the second game today, John, where we've seen a Broodmother not really able to carry the game. Not yet, at least.
It just feels like it needs so much more. It's not really eating up map space the way you'd want it to right now as well. The laning start for TA2000 was a little bit slower. He is keeping up with Ulnet's farm. It does feel like this Broodmother wants the advantage on hand to really start to leverage that early spike the hero can have. MOUZ, for their part, they're not going too crazy yet. They did all gate up top, but they didn't drag Ulnet along. Not going to commit the God Strength for something like a Roshan take yet. BKB, only the recipe away now for Ulnet. That should allow a lot more frontline play for that Sven. They're not relenting on the pressure, though. Force taking point, clearing out some wards here.
There we go. They've caught a Primal. Force, though, able to walk away as he had his team right behind him. Bottom lane, looks like TA2000 was farming the creep wave, and immediate TPs do come down to see if they can look towards killing off that Broodmother once again. Olnet's going to move into that jungle in the south to see if they can find the Brood. Narman is indeed going to spot him, but the lift up is onto a Spiderling. Not going to have the opportunity to get the actual heroes, so TA2000 will be able to escape this time around. It seems like he is on his way to farm a BKB now on the Brood.
Yeah. Up top, though, they take the gate across. One pick off here. They could try for Roche, but no one from the side of Quest stick around for too long still. MOUZ. Nah, couldn't play it safe. They do have the BKB ready now on Force. And again, the BKB is not too far off on Ulnet. If they take this objective, Roshan does become a much easier team to take as well for MOUZ. Does look like they are starting to set up for that. They've got good forward wards to watch right by the tier 1 as well in case any counterplay comes in for that objective, although they don't have that much time on nighttime Roche. Scan Quest having the good right idea, just not quite there yet for MOUZ. But they have their own BKBs ready now in Quest. New ready to frontline. They'll smoke off the back of this one.
Top lane.
Dire are scanning.
The rotation is out. Quest moving north. MOUZ. They're actually going to go through the twin gates.
Dire's bottom
There was a
tower
scan
is under
out
attack.
on that bottom twin gate, but it does wear off just before MOUZ Esports get there. And now MOUZ are actually running back towards their own
Dire's
triangle.
bottom tower has fallen.
PSG Quest looking to go through the twin gates themselves now. You do see Supreme farming the creep wave, and Ulnet will now show on the bottom creep wave, so they do want to go. PSG... Oh, Ulnet! He went for the Watcher! Oh, I tell you what, John, these Watchers are such bait. They are such bait every time. Roshan's up. Off we go.
That was pretty confusing for MOUZ. It felt like they had the right idea. Take the gate across, set up for bottom Roche. And they just leave the area. Walk into that triangle, like you said. Walk into the jungle area, and it's just Ulnet left. Now Roshan gets picked up by Quest. They get to even out the game off the back of that. Doesn't take too long for Roche to fall. Secondary life on TA2000. MOUZ, that bit of disconnect as a team. It's severe punishment. You give an opening like that to Quest, they will use it to blow the game open.
Absolutely, too. It's a very, very interesting position now in this game, too, because PSG Quest, they were somewhat behind, but with that Aegis up, it certainly starts to feel like they take over as they'll take the Tormentor on the Dire side of things. Nice and easy. Omar will pick up his shards now on the Snapfire.
Dire's bottom tower is
And
under
PSG
attack.
Quest, they are looking towards that bottom tier 2 tower. Seems like they are going to just back their way out of there. Though it is MOUZ now chasing them down. MOUZ smoking up, looking at TA2000. A counter smoke, but Narman jumps in. He found the Broodmother, but TA2000 got the BKB up in time. They'll still try to rush forward, but there's no pulverize out from Force to catch out the Brood. Omar, he's the one to go down in the Snapfire, but that's about all they've gotten so far as Malik gets the TP away. So all of that, but you only really got the snap. Not really too big of a deal here for PSG Quest or MOUZ.
No. I mean, you do manage to force at least the BKB charge on TA2000 down to the 8-second charge. Not the biggest deal in the world. Still a lot of time there for TA to kind of do what he wants in all of these engagements. MOUZ, they need these pickoffs to work. They need to reel this game back their way. Does feel like there's some pressure to try to waste this Aegis, make farming a little bit less comfy for them on the side of Quest. Because as this game scales on, I mean, you do have good scaling on the side of MOUZ overall. You can alacrity up Ulnet up front. He's going to do a ton of damage. It does feel like you're scaling on DK plus Slardar plus Broodmother in terms of these triple cores. There's very stable scaling across that. And all of them are finding fairly equal farm. On the side of MOUZ, it's all pouring onto Ulnet. Force and Supreme have taken a little bit of a back seat here in comparison to get that farm distribution going.
Now a 3-man smoker. PSG Quest, they're not looking to slow down.
Radiant
come.
are scanning. Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Stun is out. They have caught themselves a very nice target. They have found all that going to be forced to try and fight back. The BKB is off. He's found one, and he's found two. Noob is down. So is Omar. The turnaround is officially here for MOUZ Esports. They do take out Ducalis. But suddenly, I mean, it looked like he should have gone down real quick, but gets the BKB off just barely, and well, suddenly now the game switched around once again.
Just an unfortunate spot for Quest to take that fight. Right behind was Bengen. And you get that cask off with Maldic to get a decent channel of death ward. Heroes just melt. You still can't underestimate that output. So you can see again, just good positioning out from a Witch Doctor. And just way too clumped up. No BKBs flying on from the side of Quest. On that jump in, they tried to play it greedy. They didn't expect the supports to be there to provide that coverage. Without that debuff immunity on the Slaughter and DK, just fell apart. Like, you saw Malik immediately bail, knowing that the BKB can't fly on Noob, and it's just a done deal. 3k lead coming out for MOUZ, and this is Quest playing with the Aegis. Again, it's so important for MOUZ to apply this pressure to just make it so uncomfy for Quest to try to maximize the Aegis into a tier 2. They're not able to cross that line. The split push from TA, it's not really coming out. He is going straight to a Butterfly. So our Broodmother will start to pump some good damage out, cause some issues in trying to get some hits in as well. It just doesn't feel like that's going to be enough yet. Feels like we need to see Quest play as a strong unit, be pretty smart about their debuff immunity usage. They waste the kisses out on an illusion, unfortunately enough.
They do. MOUZ still looking for a nice target to pick off here so they can start looking at some objectives. Tier 2 bottom tower is where Ulna will end up. Tier 2000 though, still taking the top tier 2. Not really too challenging for a Brood, of course. We'll let the Aegis expire in about 20 seconds.
Dire's top tower is under attack. Radiant are scanning.
MOUZ, they are starting to group up in that Radiant jungle by the tier 2 mid. But they will retreat there as well. So back to the farm game. Seems like they're more than happy to just continue buying Ulna more and more time. I suppose the scaling potential for the Sven seems to be a lot higher than what you've got on PSG Quest. But I suppose we'll wait and see. I mean, maybe there's some broken stuff we're not aware of quite yet with this carry Broodmother. That level 25 talent does look kind of busted, but we'll see.
It's just a long while till that level 25 for the BAT. Does feel like you need to consider some ways of controlling the Sven outside of just chain stunning him. Maybe a halberd could be some good piece of kit here for Quest if they can find some room to get that in their item build up. I don't think you're outscaled too hard in Quest. Again, your triple scaling is pretty good on Slaughter, DK, and Broodmother, whereas for the side of MOUZ, it does feel like it's mainly reliant on Ulna to really dish that damage. The damage drop off for Primal Beast is there, although he does have some secondary spikes with, say, the Ags, with how durable he can be up front. And, you know, with an Invoker, there's a lot of utility to throw out. It does feel like Quest, again, has to respect that AoE control. Just Cask, Maldic, and the Stormhammer on top. You need to be smart when you jump in with these BKBs. They need some more vision. They've got a good line across the river from mid into the top jungle. But that's not where MOUZ have been playing recently. They're still hugging bot. They've been hugging their triangle. They've got the full AC up now on Ulnit. So he's very much tanking through all of that physical output. Does not care as much about the Corrosive Haze either. Just melt another tier 2 in exchange as well.
Very, very easy so far for MOUZ. I mean, couple back and forths, but MOUZ now suddenly looking very confident here in this game too. As they will go for the 5-man smoke running through the mid lane. PSG Quest holding their position in that Dire jungle. But it's only really two of them right now, Noob and Omar. They've been left behind on their own. They'll run north, they'll try to avoid MOUZ, and well, MOUZ, they actually don't realize that they were there. So big rotations out from MOUZ with the smoke, but they find nothing for it, sadly. Just a few wards being placed down, but that's really about it. You still have the opportunity for Noob, though. Still at the top right corner of the map, but it doesn't seem like anyone believes he's there.
Yeah.
And he gets out. They never checked.
Yeah. A little bit sneaky coming out. That does stall for time. TA2000 has the full butterfly up now on the Broodmother. I will say 35% evasion with a 60% miss chance from capacitating bite, because those are two separate things, evasion and miss. Does feel like as long as TA2000 can maybe focus his hits onto Ulnip when the BKB fades or before the BKB turns on, can be hard to burst down this Brood. We'll see.
Here we go. Stun is out. They caught the Primal Beast for now, but Force is still pretty tanky and pretty fine to just walk away as Malik. He'll have all his mana drained. Jump in again from Noob with a casual stun onto Force, but he's just way too tanky to deal with right now. Even with the Corrosive Haze out on him, he's just got too much armor. MOUZ very patiently waiting for their chance to jump in. Roshan still 30 seconds away, so there is a bit of time for both sides to reposture, reposition, and see if they can find themselves a better position for this next fight. You still got those wards down here, as they are going to jump. They found the Sven for now, but they don't have the follow-up damage to really burst them down, as now they actually caught out the Slaughter. Malik is down already. That's one gone for Quest. Supreme being chased here by Noob. Supreme might just drop, and he does. They have found the mid-invoker. A 1-for-1 for now. Meanwhile, TA2000, he's got a double stun off with the cookie, but it seems like they want to try and retreat for a little bit of Supreme in a bit of danger on the Dragon Knight. Will try to turn a man up. He's still alive for a little bit longer. Forster trying to chase him down to the Primal, but Noob is able to blink out. Omar, Cookie's over that little ditch, but he's been caught in the snap. PSG Quest out of fuel. Stakalis also going to be caught here by Force. Will go down. It's a 3-for-1 trade in the favor of MOUZ. And Quest, I mean, it's very prolonged team fights, but they just continue to get kited here by MOUZ, and MOUZ just with the patience to turn eventually and get the job done.
Yeah, and again, it's a couple of issues coming out here for Quest. Every time they dive forward, Force with his own BKB just turns around, gets the Pulverize off, nothing to block that single target debuff immunity piercing spell. And without the follow-through, without Malik being able to just spam out Corrosive Hazes in the back line, try to burst down heroes with a Slitherin Crush and the Chain Bashes, it doesn't feel like you can get the numbers advantage quick enough on Quest. Yes, they managed to find a nice kill in taking care of Supreme, but it's just not enough. Roshan open now for MOUZ. They're in the bot area. They've scouted out with Bengen. Aegis plus the good old Roche banner now for the high ground siege can make things easier for MOUZ to dig in. And for the side of Quest, and we are seeing some of that damage coming out from TA2000 now. Right, some of that durability kick in with a mischance plus the evasion. It's just not enough. There's no way for him to connect into the two Blink heroes, so he's forced to play in the front line while everyone's trying to rip the back, but MOUZ is all grouped together that there's no real split off. It feels like both Noob and Malik are just running into the lines den, and it's TA2000 cleans up softer front line in an order that you don't necessarily want.
Omar caught out top lane. No way of getting out of that one. He is gone. A 5k advantage now for MOUZ, even with the MKB up now on Olnit. So Olnit just not going to have any more issues with the evasion of this Broodmother. Even an amp damage rune just waiting for whoever can find it here on the side of MOUZ Esports. Seems like Force is going to scout it out and probably will. No, he just takes. Of course he does. But maybe he'll wait for Olnit to take it, but no. He wants it himself. You take it, Force.
That's good old Force. That's our Force. No, that's pretty much on brand for him. I mean, to be fair, double damage on Problem Beast, not the worst thing in the world. But trample damage, maybe Pulverize as well if you want to consider that with Spell Amp. And it is fine. They are clearing out the objectives. Tier 2 mid does fall. One outer tower left for Quest. And MOUZ, they've done a fantastic job of just turning this game on its head. Not allowing TA2000 to play a standard Broodmother game. It's been very slow for TA. The farm has been there, but the impact it just hasn't been felt. And now they're onto that last outer tower. And Quest, for their part, just it doesn't feel like they have the fight for it. They could still hold high ground. You have Macro Power, you have Ice Path, you have Slytherin Crush. There's a lot of AoE to play with. But I don't think you take any fight outside unless you find a pick-off here.
Here we go, MOUZ Esports. Onto the high ground they'll go, the tier 3 tower under siege.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack. Radiant's top tower is under attack. Radiant's top tower has fallen.
They'll try to slow it down just by chipping away with the Ice Path of the Jakiro.
Radiant's top barracks are under attack.
Well, there goes your top barracks. No contest here from PSG Quest thus far. And MOUZ, for now, get away with it completely freely. They have all their spells up. They could probably look to just go mid. Olnit thinks about it and does decide to do so. Still has the Aegis, still has the God Strength, still has everything. Might just wait for his first life to go before he pops the God Strength, of course, but that'll be up to him. We'll wait and see what he wants to do. Jump is there. Noob, he'll throw a stun out with the Ice Path to follow up, but Olnit can just casually walk out of there. And of course, you are going to have the reset of Bengun with the Voodoo Restoration. So Olnit can just wait a couple seconds and kind of get back to it. That there is a smoke here from PSG Quest. They're looking for Supreme on the Invoker. Supreme picks up an Invis, does get stunned up here by Malik, and the jump is there. Supreme is gone. Kiss is out. Olnit has been spotted. They'll get the Corrosive Haze out onto the Sven. Cookie is going to land as well into a Spiderling. Meanwhile, an Onslaught out from Force trying to rush forward to find himself a couple of supports, but finds nothing so far as Olnit. Being jumped again here by Noob. Still looking for the fight. Does have the Aegis. Will give his first life up. Keep in mind, he has the God Strength ready to go. Meanwhile, toward the north, Malik still fighting, but the Pulverize out from Force going to hold him down. Malik drops. Olnit now looking for more. They found TA2000. That's the big one. They've got the Broodmother. TA2000 able to BKB and run. Barely gets away in the nick of time. They did at least force a buyback out for Malik. So you miss out on the Broodmother kill, but at least you get the buyback committed. And MOUZ, they are still waiting on the high ground of that Radiant Triangle. They still want to go. They have time on the God Strength to get another kill or two.
Radiant are scanning.
Force, not quite onslaughting in yet. He'll try to scout out, gets a bit of vision down. Narman, lift is up. He found Ducalis with that one. That'll be Ducalis to drop.
Nice little pickup for the side of MOUZ. I mean, they do have the buyback and Supreme.
Is under attack.
So you're going to be down the Invoker buyback for the next few moments, although...
Well, they found Noob now. Noob trying to get out of there, but the Death Ward just doing so much damage from Narman. They have found Malik to boot.
God.
Force just doing so much work on the Primal Beast as Omar. Well, Omar's going to try to run, but they've got the hands up. They're waving him goodbye. TA2000 not looking good either. He'll drop a full team wipe, and GG is called. They have seen enough on the side of PSG Quest. And that'll be a draw, Jonathan. 1-1. MOUZ at least managing to force this draw before this series is over.
Yeah, a nice little win for MOUZ. Just rather unfortunate that it does not affect